All right. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most powerful tools in any data analyst's toolkit. We're unlocking something called panel data. It's a structure that helps us get way closer to answering not just what happened, but the really big question, why?
So let's dive right in with a problem that, every single analyst faces. How do you get past just the surface level numbers to figure out what is really driving the results you're seeing? You've heard this phrase a million times, right? And it's an absolutely crucial warning. But the deep down reason it's so true often comes down to the things we can't see in our data, the stuff we just can't easily measure.
Yeah, these are the real troublemakers. Think of them as these hidden forces, like a company's unique culture or maybe a person's raw talent. They're incredibly hard to put a number on, but they can secretly be steering our results and honestly lead us to completely wrong conclusions.
So to really get our heads around the solution to this problem, we first need to understand the basic building blocks of data. There are really three main types that analysts work with.
Okay, first up, you've got cross-sectional data. The best way to picture this? It's like a big group photograph. You see a whole bunch of different people, but you're only capturing them at one single brief moment in time.
And then, on the flip side, you have time series data. This is the complete opposite. It's more like a home movie that's focused on just one person, showing how they change and grow over many years. So here you get a lot of depth, but no variety.
So you see the trade-off, right? The group photo gives you breadth, this big, wide view, while the home video gives you depth, the deep story of one person. Neither one all by itself can really tell you the whole story.
But what if you didn't have to choose? What if you could combine the strengths of that snapshot and that movie? Well, that is exactly where panel data comes into the picture.
This is the big solution. Panel data tracks the exact same group of people or companies or states over a period of time. It's kind of like watching the entire cast of a TV show develop over multiple seasons. You get to see each character's individual journey, and you see how they all interact and change together.
Okay, so this isn't just some abstract academic idea. Let's make this super concrete, because this method is used to answer really vital, real-world questions where the answers have some pretty serious consequences.
How about this one? Can raising the tax on beer actually reduce traffic deaths? I mean, that's a huge policy question where finding the right, fact-based evidence could literally save lives. Just looking at a simple correlation might totally mislead us, but panel data can give us a much clearer picture.
And here's what that data actually looks like. You can see we're not just looking at one state or just one year. We're tracking the same group of states, Alabama, Arizona, all of them, across multiple years. And we're watching how both the beer tax and the fatality rate change within each state over time.
And this right here, this is a huge milestone for any analyst. Using panel data helps us move from just seeing patterns to actually getting a handle on cause and effect, a concept we call causal inference.
So what's the secret sauce here? How does panel data actually work its magic? Well, it all comes back to tackling those sneaky troublemaker factors we talked about at the very beginning.
Panel data has this amazing ability to handle factors that are constant or time invariant for each thing we're studying. So for our example, think about a state's unique drinking culture or its geography. These are things that are really hard to measure, they don't change much over a few years, but they definitely affect road safety.
So how does this all work? Well, because we're watching each state over time, we can statistically isolate these fixed characteristics, what analysts call fixed effects. We can essentially subtract their constant influence from the equation. And what that does is it removes all the noise and lets us see the true relationship between beer taxes and fatalities way more clearly.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. Let's talk about why this method is so incredibly important for making smarter, evidence-based decisions in business, in policy, pretty much everywhere.
A quote from our source material just nails it. Panel data isn't always the final word on proving causality, not by a long shot, but it is without a doubt an absolutely essential starting point on that journey. So this is why it all matters so much. This method allows analysts to move beyond simple and, let's be honest, often totally misleading correlations. It helps filter out all that hidden bias, giving decision-makers much more reliable, fact-based evidence so they can build smarter policies and better business strategies.
And that's really the big takeaway here. This powerful technique just opens up the door to answering countless other really important questions. Does a new teaching method actually improve student outcomes over their entire time in school? Does a 4-day work week really boost a company's productivity year after year? By tracking the same entities over time, we get so much closer to the real answers.